It is great to see you on this Thursday morning. Welcome to this hour of Court TV Live. I'm your host, Julie Grant. We start this hour off for you in the state of Georgia, where court's resuming in our next hour in the self-defense or murder trial. It was an action-packed day on Wednesday, my friends. Let me tell you, the state resting its case after calling a total of 15 witnesses over the course of 2 days. That led to possibly the biggest moment in the case thus far, when Quaneesha Johnson took the stand.
Ms. Johnson, do you understand that you have the right to testify, and if you want to testify, then no one can prevent you from doing so? And do you understand that no one can make or compel you to testify? That is, do you understand that you have the right to not testify if you do not want to testify? Do you understand that not your lawyer, but you personally are the one who decides whether you will testify or not testify? Do you understand if you do not testify, then upon proper request by you, the court will instruct the jury that your decision cannot be used against you? Do you understand if you choose to testify, you will be both examined by your counsel and cross-examined by the assistant district attorney? Do you feel that you need any additional time to speak with your attorney about whether you want to testify or not? Do you personally want to testify or not testify? Yes.
All right, for more now on Quaneesha Johnson's big day on the witness stand, let's take you out to the greater Atlanta area, where we find Court TV legal correspondent Julia Janae standing by for us outside of the courthouse. Julia, good morning to you. Big day, as you know, Wednesday for defendant Quaneesha Johnson. You were there in the courtroom watching all of her testimony in person. Anxious to hear what you really were able to pick up on from her demeanor inside of the courtroom, and then also outside too, as you've been watching her there as well.
Julie, good to be with you this morning. Yesterday was a jam-packed day. We're expecting another jam-packed day inside of the courtroom today, with potentially closing arguments coming by this afternoon. Yesterday, Quaneesha Johnson taking the stand was a big moment after the state rested. She was her defense case's first witness on the stand, and she really kept herself composed during direct examination. Her attorney, Michael Sterling, asking her those questions about the relationship with the shooting victim in this case. What led up to it? She didn't talk about him as if he were a boyfriend. She said that he was her child's father, and she wanted him to have a relationship with her baby, and that's why she let him stay in the house. And this day in question, she just wanted a night out. She wanted a break with her friends and didn't think there would be any issue with leaving, but said her phone died, and that's what led up to this argument between the two. One of the most emotional moments during that direct examination came at the very end of it, right before things were about to turn over to cross-examination. Take a listen.
Ms. Johnson, how did it make you feel knowing what had happened?
It still makes me feel the same way. I never wanted it to happen. I didn't intend for it to happen. I didn't mean for it to happen.
But in that moment, you felt like you had to defend yourself.
I did.
The jurors were doing a lot of writing during her testimony. Also, the testimony of her 7-year-old daughter, now 8 years old, who testified yesterday. And I'm wondering if they also noticed some things that happened outside of the courthouse. These jurors go in and out of the same door. And yesterday, we noticed Quaneesha outside of court with her kids. And this is seemingly a really important moment for them, because there have been times that she hasn't been able to spend time with her kids. It was under court order that her child could not be with her through the pendency of this case. They didn't want any kind of tampering or tainting of her child's testimonies. That's been since November of 2022, but yesterday I noticed them outside just seeming to have the time of their life, Julie, with their mom. Now, tomorrow, Michael Sterling, the defense attorney for Quaneesha Johnson, says that he is going to be calling at least 2 witnesses. There's one that they are trying to get into this case that they say they've got an investigator outside of that person's house to serve them a subpoena. We don't know if we're going to hear from them, but we know that they want to bring in some of the bad character evidence that has to do with the shooting victim in this case, Demonte Smith.
Right. Well, that'll be big. This is going to be a big day, Julia, as you know. It seems like just with every witness, they could really make or break this case, especially Quaneesha Johnson, as you told us. And, you know, when she was up there on direct, of course, we know with any witness, they're going to be better on direct than on cross. But sometimes, you know, the jurors cannot like the way a lawyer is handling them on cross. And here, the prosecution really focused in on that theme of her mothering. Julie, I know you were watching the jury. How did they seem to take to that?
I will say there's at least one woman juror who did not seem to care for the way the prosecution was seemingly attacking her choices. That reiterating the fact, Prosecutor Rahan Shah, that she had options, that she could have left, that she could have gone to her friends that she had been out partying with. She could have taken her children and gone there, even suggesting that she could have left the infant that she shared with Demonte Smith, because that would have legally been his child too, but that she could have taken her other 2 children and left if there was an altercation. So there's this back and forth with her saying that she did not know that things would get to that level, and she didn't want to leave her kids. Take a listen to a bit of that cross-examination centering on her mothering.
You found it okay to leave your 3 children with him overnight again?
So the day of the incident the problem wasn't that I was at work, so me leaving my kids with him to go out for my friend's birthday. Yes, I did. I didn't feel like anything.
Okay. And you were gone all night, right?
I was at work, yeah.
At work, gone all night. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And 2 weeks after, on November 26th, you decided, even though this man has put his hands on me and he has been violent to me, I'm going to leave my 3 children under the age of 8 in his custody all night. Is that right?
He was never violent to my daughters, so yes.
Okay, so that's what you found fit.
A lot of evidence about what happened before, what happened afterward, her demeanor, but Julie, she was firm on the stand that he was attacking her, he was coming after her, and that's why she closed her eyes and pulled the trigger.
Julia Janae live for us in Atlanta, all over this one. Thank you so much for that early update. We'll look forward to more of your reporting throughout the day. And here's what we're going to do now, folks. Let's talk about believability, right? You know, whether someone is credible on the stand with every single witness, no matter who they are, credibility is always an issue for the jury. So this morning, we're wondering, what does Quaneesha Johnson's body language reveal to those watching this case? So we're bringing in an expert to tell us. We've got with us on the show this morning, body language expert, author, and senior instructor at the Body Language Institute, Mr. Rodney Smith, joining us. Rodney, good morning. Good to see you. Want to show you some videos and play some clips and really just have you analyze this objectively, as you have no horse in this race. So first of all, I want to show you a video of her crying on direct examination, talking about the shooting, getting visibly emotional for the jury. Let's watch that and tell us if anything is jumping out at you, whether this is forced, whether it just appears natural. If we could roll that clip, that'd be great.
It still made me feel the same way.
The glasses come off too, Rodney. I mean, wiping the eyes and yanking the glasses off. What do you think here? Does this crying appear natural?
So as I'm watching this video, one of a few things that I actually see here is just before she pulls and as she's pulling the glasses off, in the micro expression and macro expression of sadness, there's an inner reliability muscle that does this inner pull, and you'll see a wrinkling of the upper brow area. And we actually see that starting to take place just as the tears start to fall down her face. I believe that the pulling of the glasses off was to actually clear her her face so that she could wipe her eyes. But just as you notice here, you can see her nostrils. Her nostrils are actually flaring, which is not it is not uncommon to see when an individual is upset or sad because they're trying to bring in more oxygen to help bring themselves back to homeostasis because they're not in a comfortable circumstance or situation. And we also see the corners of her mouth start to go down. So with the reliability of the sadness, we see the corners coming down, that inner pull into the upper brow area, in conjunction with the tears. I would say that congruency is 100% accurate because this is the only time that we actually see some true emotion where we're talking about the actual death that was done to the victim in this case, as well as the conjunction of the flaring of the nostrils.
Sure.
As you can see there, as the clip rewinds, when it goes back, the nostrils actually, just before she takes the glasses off, you'll see those nostrils just start to open just a little bit.
Right.
So with all of those three factors, I would say that, in my personal opinion, that actually looks to be congruent with sadness.
Sure, and we appreciate that because, as you know, Rodney, we see a lot of defendants who will take the stand, lie on the stand, and cry crocodile tears. But that certainly doesn't seem to be the case with Quaneesha Johnson. One of the most unfavorable facts that her defense team has to contend with is what she said after the shooting. It's pretty savage. And for any folks just now joining us, I mean, she says bye to him twice after shooting him. So, of course, had to explain it away when she was on the witness stand, and surely they crossed her on it. This clip I've got for you, Rodney, is on the cross-examination, the prosecutor going at her. Let's analyze it from that standpoint now.
All right.
And you shoot him, and then you say bye. But on direct, you said you kind of blacked out, right?
Yes.
And your last words to the dying man were bye multiple times.
Yes, I don't recall saying that. Had I been to my senses, I wouldn't have, but yes, I did say bye.
Okay. But you tell detectives what you did was you kind of followed him down the stairs and made sure he was okay.
I did.
Okay. But you didn't do that because you said bye, and that's the only thing that's heard, right?
I did walk him down the steps.
Okay, Rodney, do you detect any deception there?
So the biggest thing when he starts to ask her, did you say bye? We notice there's a slight shoulder shrug, and she shakes her head and she says, I don't recall that. And she throws this slight shoulder shrug. And as we see that shoulder shrug, coupled with the shaking of the head no, which we always affirm to be in the negative, that shoulder shrug in itself says, I'm a bit uncertain. I'm not 100% sure. There's a possibility I did, there's a possibility I didn't. But then when he asked her, but you did follow him downstairs, her congruency with yes and her congruencies with no's seem to be on point, on the correct timing. And as we actually see where they asked her, you see the eyes go up. She's accessing the visual remembrance of her brain so that she can actually try to see this and relive this situation and circumstance. But as I see that she shrugs her shoulder and she says, I don't remember, I'm not sure. So there's a sense of uncertainty there. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't, but she never flat outright denies it.
Right, Rodney, which seems to make sense because she's in a state of trauma. You know, even if you try to remember, it may be possible, right, that she just doesn't. When you take someone's life, you fire a gun at someone, you know, the father of your children. I mean, this is fascinating to hear it from your perspective, you know, because you're just looking at the body language and it's indicating truthfulness on behalf of Quaneesha Johnson.
Yes. Yeah. One thing, Julie, that I like to try to do, especially if I'm looking at someone's body language, if you look at everything and just turn the volume off and just listen or just look at what you see and watch the behaviors, the shaking of the head no, the shoulder shrugs, the furrowing of the brows, the raise of the eyebrows, and just try to interpret what does that mean.
Sure.
And then go back and watch it with the words, and then try to measure that congruency real time together.
Oh, that's a great trick for us you just shared, Rodney Smith. I know our courties are loving that. Thank you so much for lending us your expertise this morning. Would love to have you back sometime soon. Take good care.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Of course, thank you. We're going to squeeze in a quick break, friends. We want to know what you think about this trial. In the meantime, hit us up on Twitter. You can tweet at me directly. Any comments, questions, if you like, at Julie Court TV is my handle, or our network handle, of course, is at Court TV. And we're on Threads as well, by the way, if you want to send us a message there.